There we go. Another Saturday morning. Another Saturday morning. Final Cut TV and Coffin. We have a special guest. We have a special guest today, which is DaVinci Resolve 20 Beta. Very, very interesting. This is one of the main reasons that I would go to NAB is because of Blackmagic Design. Very, very interesting company. I'm not going to NAB. I'm not there. Because I really like Grant Petty. I love DaVinci Resolve Studio that I've had for quite a while. And they just released 20 DaVinci Resolve 20 Beta yesterday. Joining in from Jamaica, how you doing? From a sunny Netherlands, hello, Final Cut Pro world. And our friend over there on the X platform, Nobody, absolutely. Good morning to everybody over there. So, as usual, very impressed with DaVinci Resolve, Grant Petty, their presentation. They it's weird. Well, I know why they do it. They do it so they don't have to worry about doing it at NAB. They don't have to worry about doing a presentation at NAB. They did their presentation. It's like what Apple's been doing recently, which is they don't do the live version of the presentation. They do a pre-recorded version. Now, basically, Grant Petty was live in the studio, and they recorded it all in one take, I believe. It looked like it to me. Let me just move this over and do this. Grant Petty said there will be, in the future, paid upgrades. He said there might be. He said they're probably going to be. Absolutely. Good morning from Montreal. How you doing? Gary from Montreal. And Patrick says, hey, absolutely. So, listen, I'm a big fan, obviously, Final Cut Pro. But I also have DaVinci Studio. I've had it for years. I really, really like it. This new version 20 Beta, is phenomenal, as usual. Grant Petty and his crew at Blackmagic, through the roof. 100 new features and improvements. 100. Now, we're going to compare. It's not, I saw some little cuts in there, and I'm almost certain that the line about tariffs and duties, okay, there you go. There could have been some little cuts, but it seemed like for the most part it was alive in the studio that they recorded, okay? That makes perfect sense. So the thing about, I have 3 main NLEs that I think professionals use. It's Avid, DaVinci Resolve, and Final Cut Pro. Now, they're all 3 different. They are all 3 different. They're different NLEs for different, not entirely different purposes, but for different workflows. Sometimes Avid's the one you want to use. Sometimes DaVinci Resolve is the one you use. Sometimes Final Cut Pro is the one you use. Good morning from Richmond. So they will be moving to a subscription soon. Who thinks anybody's going to be moving to a subscription? I don't think so. Hello from Denmark. Been using Image Playground for one of my shorts, and the fact that you cannot recognize people is an advantage for my use. Oh, I understand that. I put in my photograph in Image Playground, and the image that comes out looks nothing like me whatsoever. It looks like a college professor that taught science or French or something. It doesn't look like me at all. There's no chance of being recognized as far as I'm concerned. Let's go over here. So we're going to talk about DaVinci Resolve 20 Beta versus Final Cut Pro 11.1. It's not a direct one-to-one comparison. That's not what I'm doing. Feature for feature. No. First off, DaVinci Resolve has DaVinci Resolve. It has Fairlight audio built in. It has DaVinci Resolve Color. It has Fusion built in, and a whole bunch of things. It's a much more robust application than bare bones Final Cut Pro. They're all three different. Avid, DaVinci Resolve, and Final Cut. For different reasons, you would use different ones. I do. Text-based editing, DaVinci Resolve hands down. DaVinci Resolve hands down. Everybody has text-based editings for 2 years or 3 years now at NAB. DaVinci Resolve had it. Premiere has it. Avid's had it for a while. Final Cut Pro still doesn't have text-based editing, although they did add auto captioning. So we're going to watch some of the videos that, let me see, how am I going to do this? Oh, I know what I'll do. We're going to watch some of the videos from the DaVinci Resolve yesterday. I mean, why is that? Oh, I got to get that out of the way. Let me see what's going on here. Control Command. Let's do this. There we go. We're going to watch some of the videos that they produced yesterday. So they will all be moving to subscription. I'm not sure why you said that. I don't know. I don't see any evidence of that anywhere. I don't see any evidence of that. I didn't see where Grant Petty said they're moving to subscription. What he said, well, we'll watch what he said. Do I have that? Let me see. Let me just hold on 1 second. Let me see. Yeah, I have it. Let's play this video first. So, oops. We are going to play this video first. Now, oops, there we go. Since people are talking about that, we are going to, now let me get this set up. I didn't actually set this up properly. Thank you very much for the heads up. This one is going to be primary display. No, let's do QuickTime Player. Okay, here we go. Primary display. There we go. We're set up here. So let's watch this. Safari QuickTime Player. Here we go. Let's watch and listen to what Grant Petty actually said about charging for DaVinci Resolve in the future.
As you can see, this is a really big release, and there's even more features than this. So DaVinci Resolve 20 is free to download. The paid version of DaVinci Resolve Studio is also free. We'll probably eventually charge some kind of upgrade for this, but for the moment, we're still doing the DaVinci Resolve Studio upgrade free.
So you heard it from Grant Petty himself. DaVinci Resolve 20 is free. Both the free version, of course, and the paid version are both free. Okay? He said we'll probably charge for something in the future. Well, that's DaVinci Resolve 21 or 20.5 or whatever. And to be honest with you, I don't mind. I kind of expect a developer to charge for these massive upgrades in the future. So in the case of DaVinci Resolve, I wouldn't mind paying $100 for a major update like this. He's got to pay his employees, and it's a massive amount of work that went in it. Same with Final Cut. We've got free upgrades for all these years. I have no problem at some point they say, hey, but tell us in advance exactly the way that Grant Petty just did. Don't just spring it on us. Tell us in advance. Hey, at some point in the future, we're going to be charging admission to a new version of Final Cut or a new version of DaVinci Resolve. That's exactly the way you do it. You don't just spring it on people. Tell them in advance so they know. Patrick says, Grant has been extremely vocal about his distaste for subscriptions. I think there might be a time studio requires another payment, but that's all still hypothetical. Exactly, Patrick. That's good. And as a professional user, I don't mind, and I want to support DaVinci Resolve, and I don't mind, and I want to support Final Cut Pro, not with a subscription, but with let me make a one-time payment to upgrade. No problem. I absolutely agree with that. Final Cut is great for a person like me who needs fast turnarounds of shorter videos, only watch a fraction of what Final Cut can, and it is to more than enough. DaVinci would be too much for my needs. I completely understand that. And we have a explainer video coming up. Yes, absolutely. So I guess that means, since you're doing this show, that you're not going to NAB. That's correct. I had all reservations. I had a reservation at the hotel. I had an airfare reservation, and I canceled all those. When I go to NAB, I always go because of specific events. Okay? 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019, there were Final Cut Pro specific events at NAB. In 2016, the Faster Together stage, LumaForge had days of tutorials on Final Cut Pro and stuff. And up to 2019, there was a Final Cut Pro Apple event sponsored. Apple was there in official capacity. Since 2019, no Apple events have happened. 0 public-facing Apple events have happened for Final Cut Pro. Now, but there was a super meet. That's another reason I would go. There was a last year there was no super meet, but there was a Strada. Michael Cioni put on a Strada party on Saturday night. It's not happening this year. So when I go to NAB, I want to go, number one, I interview people. I interviewed Grant Petty last year, short interview. It's on my YouTube channel. I interviewed LumaFusion, my friends at LumaFusion. I interviewed a lot of cool people over the years, including Filmic Pro when they were still a viable camera for iPhones. So there's no specific events that I want to go to at this NAB. Not a single Final Cut Pro event, no parties, no super meets, no Faster Together stage. There's nothing specific. I don't want to just go and wander around to all the different vendors and stuff. That's fine, but I need events to draw me into NAB. There are none this year that I want to attend events. By events, I mean parties or a specific presentation, Final Cut Pro. The only thing that I miss more than anything is a Blackmagic booth. It's phenomenal. Grant Petty is a friendly person to talk to. And that, I do miss that. But yesterday we had all the presentation that Blackmagic's going to show. So no $2,000 coffee day. That's correct. Burke said he heading there tomorrow will miss you. Absolutely. I'm jealous, but I just didn't want to. I need events to go to. Final Cut Pro is my main editor. I don't use Premiere because my client requires a Premiere project. Feeling a little bit for my Final Cut Pro peeps, really hoping the big update last year is a portent of things to come and not just as some scraps to get users off their backs for a while. Listen. There's no, DaVinci Resolve is an incredible NLE. Nobody can compete with the amount of updates that Blackmagic, Grant Petty, and DaVinci Resolve puts out. Nobody, no NLE could compete. Final Cut Pro can't compete. DaVinci Resolve has over 100 features and improvements in this version, the beta version. Final Cut Pro, the last 11.1, which I'm glad they did, had 4 or 5. Final Cut Pro team is not competing with DaVinci Resolve. And the Final Cut Pro team 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, at the Creative Summit, singled out DaVinci Resolve as being a very, very good or a great NLE. They brought it up and they mentioned DaVinci Resolve themselves. So they don't feel they're a one-to-one competition. DaVinci is for professionals and would-be professionals who need the most advanced options possible. Final Cut Pro is for prosumers and professionals who need fast turnaround. Here's my opinion about, well, I'm going to wait a little while, and I'm going to show you my opinion of what I think the different NLEs are. Each NLE, what is that? Each NLE has its own strengths, features, and weaknesses. Okay, they're all three are the same way. Let's take a look at this real quick. Video loading. Huh. That's bizarre. It's not available? Hold on a second. Let me see what's going on there. Hold on one second. Just checking something. One of my cameras is not firing up. Oh, there it is. It should be. Okay, why isn't it showing up here? Let's try that again. Very, very strange. Yeah, it's all right. We don't need that today. Text-based editing and a mixer would be a big leap for Final Cut Pro and get them near equal footing with the other NLEs. So Final Cut Pro is not going to catch up to DaVinci Resolve in the amount of features. I mean, DaVinci Resolve has Fairlight, it has Fusion, it has the professional color application inside. But it's not trying to. It's not trying to. But I agree with you. Text-based editing and a mixing audio mixer are two of my top features now that after 13 years, they finally gave us a scrolling timeline. Absolutely. Also seems like BMD and Apple have had a pretty good relationship behind the scenes over the years, which is encouraging. We finally got ProRes coming on Windows and Resolve. That's a good point. They do have a relationship. They've had it for a long time. Final Cut Pro is used by Disney and other major studios. Not the most prevalent by any stretch, but is used on shows we all watch. So, yeah, it's the competition between NLEs is good because one might push the other. But they're not equal. DaVinci Resolve is not equal to Final Cut. Final Cut is not equal to Avid Media Composer. They're not equal. So Alyssa says, Premiere is the worst of all NLEs, especially with performers trying to convince my client to use Final Cut Pro. I think Final Cut Pro can edit anything. It just takes another approach. It's a different approach. And like I said, I use DaVinci Resolve. I used it this morning. Text-based editing is phenomenal. There's so many features in this new version of DaVinci Resolve. It's just incredible what they do. It's absolutely incredible what DaVinci Resolve does. Now, does that mean I grab DaVinci Resolve first when I edit? No. I always grab Final Cut Pro first because I have 20 plus years editing in Final Cut Pro. I'm most comfortable with it. There's a new plugin from our friend Brett over there at Brett FX, which is along with intelligent assistance plugin can do CapCut style text. That's forthcoming. It can edit anything. So Final Cut Pro, can you edit videos, Hollywood films in Final Cut Pro? Yes, you can. They've already done it. They've done it multiple times, dozens of times. Yes. Can you edit television shows with Final Cut Pro? Yes. Does Hollywood use Final Cut Pro? No. Hollywood uses Avid. Hollywood uses Avid. Let's watch this real quick. Let me see what I got here. So I'm going to show you. First off, this is what's new in DaVinci Resolve. Just hang in there with me.
DaVinci Resolve 20 contains more than one.
Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that version. I'm going to do this version. Let me see. Here we go. I'm going to do this version. Let's try this again. What's new in DaVinci Resolve?
DaVinci Resolve 20 contains more than 100 new features, including an incredible collection of never-before-seen AI tools designed to speed up every stage of your post-production workflow so you can focus more on the creative aspects of filmmaking. Let's get started. There are extensive updates to both the cut and edit pages in this release. Among the most powerful are the new AI tools.
So let me just put this up. There we go. 100 new features. 100 new features. Good morning, Richard. I just want sustained fluid performance that we cherish on larger projects such as feature films at this point. The storyline GUI gets bogged down easily. You're talking about Final Cut, I presume, Tangier. I've back here in this corner, this is my feature film that I have playing in local theaters. It's called Raz the Documentary. And it's a 2.5 hour timeline with it's 12 terabytes of data. Doesn't get bogged down. I don't get bogged down at all. I mean, it's not as fast as a little simple timeline. That's not what I'm saying. But bogged down, no. I have a 2.5 hour timeline. It's fine. Once it renders all the waveforms stuff, I don't have that issue, Tangier. I know you've had it for a while, but I don't have that issue. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm saying that I don't have it on a 2.5 hour timeline. So let me see what I have here. That's one. Here's my opinion of NLEs. Okay? This is my opinion of NLEs. Let's do this. Movies and NLEs. Okay, this is my opinion of the 3 NLEs. Avid is a tank. DaVinci Resolve is a giant work truck with all kind of different tools built into it. And then Final Cut Pro is a sports car. They're all 3 different NLEs for different reasons. All 3 are different NLEs for different reasons. So I use Final Cut, I use DaVinci Resolve, I use LumaFusion on the iPad, and that's plenty. And of course, I use Logic as well. I edit all audio in Logic almost at this point. So obviously, I didn't go to NAB. I'm not going to NAB, obviously, this year, but I will be going to the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. Like I said, there's nothing really at NAB for me to that was drawing me there this year. Besides Black Magic, that would have been the only thing. But there's no Super Meet, there's no Final Cut Pro events, there's no Strata party or anybody else that I like having a good party where I could meet with friends. It's just not there. And I'm not going there just to wander around from this booth to that booth to this booth to that booth and stuff. That's not what I enjoy doing. I got to have specific major events. Super Meet. If it has Super Meet, I'd probably be there. If there's a couple of parties by different vendors that would have Final Cut Pro people, I would have been there. But there's not. There's nothing that drew me there this year, so I canceled my reservations. Let's go over here. So that's that. Let's see. Here's one of the things I wish Final Cut Pro would have. I don't want that one. What the heck? I don't... Close window. Okay, close my window. I want this. Oh, I didn't put it down there. That's why. I wish Final Cut had this. These are features I wish Final Cut had. Dual timelines. Dual timeline. I'd love to have dual timelines.
With both timelines open at once, you can quickly compare alternative edits and drag and drop media between the timeline panels. The new audio mixer panel allows you to easily balance and adjust your audio tracks.
Mixer. It'd be great.
Each channel strip includes a left to right pan slider, fader, solo, and mute buttons. Click expand to see the full range of audio tracks and check your loudness levels.
It's another feature I wish. I don't know why. Oh, there it is. I see it. There it is. Fantastic. Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. Very, very cool. So, does anybody else use Final Cut Pro and DaVinci Resolve? Because I do. I use Final Cut specifically most of the time. It's my number one to go to. It's quick. I know it. It's fluid. They're giving us some nice updates. 11 came out in November. 11.1 came out as we talked about. Before NAB, so that's good. They listened to us. Dual timelines or pancake agony is great for long form projects. What the heck was that I knocked down? Oh, that's my light from my printer. Yes, I do, but mostly Final Cut Pro. Same with me. I've been asking for audio mixer for years now. Well, they have one. They have one in Final Cut Pro. But it's not turned on yet. It's there. It's just not turned on yet. Let me get this. Let me get a little drink here. Very good. So DaVinci Resolve has lots of cool features. Here's something that this would be nice. I've seen people talk about this for Final Cut Pro.
When working with vertical timelines, the layouts of the cut, edit, and color pages will automatically be optimized for working with a vertical screen.
I've heard people talk about having a vertical screen layout in Final Cut. DR is like going back to Final Cut 7, but much more features. Oh, it's much more advanced than Final Cut 7 ever was. DaVinci Resolve, nobody can touch DaVinci Resolve for the amount of time and effort they put into developing it and adding features. 100 features in an update. We've never had that in Final Cut Pro. Never have we had that in Final Cut Pro. In improvements. What is the reason they have it switched off in Final Cut Pro? That sounds weird. Movable markers has been in Final Cut Pro for years. It's been available. They just turned it on in 11.1. A scrolling timeline has been in Final Cut Pro probably since the beginning, but they never liked the performance, so they never turned it on. It's not weird. It's what they do. So my point is, I know that there's an audio mixer, roles-based mixer, whatever. I have not seen it, but I know I have a good source. It's been in there for years. It's just not turned on yet. So it'll be forthcoming. Fast editing, run and gun. I would prefer Final Cut Pro, LumaFusion, and DaVinci Resolve. But for long form or traditional workflows, I would use Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve, and LumaFusion. There you go. Different order of different NLEs for different reasons. So let's go over here. Let me see. I'm going to turn that one off. So what I'm doing is, let's see. Oh, here's something very cool. I wish we had this, and we've all talked about this in Final Cut.
The Edit and Cut pages now feature a dedicated keyframes palette for easier navigation and editing of keyframed parameters. Switch between the keyframe curves and parameters mode to control keyframe placement, animation speed, and easing style. Additionally, you can expose the keyframe tray at the bottom of the edit page to view all the keyframes of the currently selected clip on the timeline.
A dedicated keyframe editor in Final Cut Pro. I would love them to borrow Motion's keyframe editor. It's very sophisticated and complex. These are just some of the things that they have in DaVinci Resolve. They have a lot more. They have 60 languages. 60 languages. They support 60 different languages in DaVinci Resolve. I'm not sure how many that Final Cut Pro or Mac OS supports. I don't know. You're getting mix minus on the videos you're playing. I'm not sure you mean my... Well, sometimes I turn my audio off. I mute it with the mute button. So let's see here.
The audio transcription engine in DaVinci Resolve now supports over 60 languages, including Hindi, Cantonese, and even Maori. And the subtitle track now supports Fusion templates that animate speech as it is spoken. After generating captions on the subtitle track, open the Effects panel and scroll to the animated Fusion titles. Drag an effect onto the subtitle track header and watch the captions pop, slide in, and highlight to grab your viewer's attention as you speak.
So there's the CapCut. There's the CapCut style titles in DaVinci Resolve 20. That's coming in Final Cut Pro with the plugin from BreadFX and the Caption Animator plugin from our friends Philip and Greg. Yeah, Burke, that's my fault. I have I had to mute my audio because what's happening is the QuickTime thing is playing back and going into my microphone, so there's kind of an echo. So I got to remember to mute my microphone when I play those videos. But anyway, I don't feel Final Cut Pro and DaVinci Resolve are two different NLEs. Two different NLEs. Do I think that they are going to be one-for-one feature parity? No. No, I never expected that. The Final Cut Pro team has specifically said they will update Final Cut Pro. They hear us talking about we like more features, but they're going to have to update Final Cut Pro based on what they know about Final Cut Pro performance and how things work. Thank you enough. Thank you very much. And that's just the way it is. Final Cut Pro is not going to ever be DaVinci Resolve, at least not in the near future. DaVinci Resolve is a behemoth. It's a behemoth. It's like if you had a work van and you had ladders and you had plumbing equipment and you had electrical equipment and you had roofing equipment and you had carpentry and you had excavation tools. Final Cut is more specific, but it's also sportier. I mean, it is a sportier NLE, like the little video that I made this morning. I wanted to demonstrate that. But there's an incredible, they have AI voice replacement, dialogue matcher, keyframe editor, jump cuts, audio mixer, dual timelines, clip timeline. What is clip timeline? Oh, this is something I wish Final Cut had. I called it I forget what I called it on my list. But you click on a clip in the browser and it opens up in the timeline space. I call it a clip marker. So you click on a clip in the browser and it opens in the timeline space. You can add markers, you can make selections, you can adjust audio just for that one specific clip. Because right now you have to work in the browser. It doesn't open up in the timeline unless you open it specifically in the timeline. But anyway, that's this. Let's watch this one.
We can also open source clips as a timeline, allowing you to view the entire clip length in order to set in and out points or markers, which can be helpful when working with long sources. We can also open source clips as a...
That's perhaps something that everybody doesn't want, but I'd like it. I'd like to be able to click on a clip, not go into clip and go into open clip, just have a mode you can right click on a clip, open in timeline, or just have a mode that the clips will open each one. You don't got to double click them and stuff. So that's something that I'd like to see. There we go. I was wondering what that was. Adding functions is always nice, but it's possible to learn, but it's impossible to learn them all. I mean, the feature with all the variable settings, that is a lot to learn. I agree, but I mean, that's what you do when you're spending time in this stuff. DaVinci Resolve, Avid Media Composer, LumaFusion, and even Adobe Creative Suite are from companies who are NLE-based companies, but Apple developed so many different apps and hardware. Yeah, but is that a plus or a minus for Final Cut Pro? That they're distracted with phones and they're distracted with iPads and they're distracted with Final Cut on the iPad, Final Cut Junior. I like them to be concentrated more on Final Cut Pro on the Mac. That's just me. I completely understand what you're saying. I'm going to play my little NLE thing a couple of times throughout this live stream. So I'm going to be going up to Westminster later today and I did a test live stream yesterday with my DJI Mic 2. And it seems, if you watched the live stream yesterday, just impromptu, it seems that I have a lapel microphone that I plug into my DJI transmitter, and I put it on my jacket over here. And it seemed to be very good quality, so I'm going to probably do that today. I'll be doing that later this afternoon. I might do something at 12 o'clock. I'm not sure. I'm going to be filming in Westminster at 12, and then I'm going to be doing a live stream at 1 o'clock today. So one thing I want to make sure of that you understand, the Final Cut Pro team watches these live streams. They watch it, so we want to give applause and accolades to the Final Cut Pro team for 11.1, which came out before NAB, which is good because it'll create a little bit of buzz for Final Cut at NAB. Final Cut Pro team is not in competition with DaVinci Resolve, at least not as far as they're concerned. Other people may have a different opinion about that. They're just different. They're different NLEs, aren't they? They're completely different NLEs. They're not completely different, but they're different. They are different. Avid's different. DaVinci Resolve's different. Let's go watch my little movie one more time. There's Avid. It's a tank. It's old and very powerful. There's Resolve. It's like a work van with all these different tools on it and ladders and extension cords and stuff. And there's Final Cut Pro, which is a sports car. So that's the way I look at it, those three. Those are the three main ones as far as I'm concerned. I mean, people can do things with CapCut. They can do things with Premiere, whatever they want to use. Of course, LumaFusion is also one. But those are the three main ones, and that's the way I perceive them. What else do we have here? Let's see what else we have. Me plus screen. So dual timelines, vertical screen, keyframe editor. Let's watch this one. I just pulled these clips from DaVinci Resolve's session yesterday. They
In
had
the
a
clip
live
menu,
thing.
choose AI Tools, Dialog Matcher, Capture Dialog Profile. Click the target clips you wish to match and choose Apply Dialog Profile.
Getting feedback from trusted partners.
This is a master cloud story.
Use this tool to match dialogue recorded in different environments, on different devices, or on shoots spanning several days.
That's another new feature. They have 100 new features. IntelliScript, did I already play that one? I don't remember. They have beat markers now in DaVinci Resolve 20. I downloaded DaVinci Resolve 20, but I did not delete my old version. So that's an important thing. Now, some of these features are things I wish Final Cut Pro had, probably all of them, but I'm not expecting all of these to be in Final Cut, nor do I need all these in Final Cut at this point. Final Cut will be adding features as we go along. I expect 11.2 to be, if not before the Creative Summit, we'll see Final Cut Pro 11.2 at the Creative Summit in November. It's hard to tell, though, isn't it?
When editing to the beat, you can now right-click and select Show Music Beats to analyze audio clips containing beat-driven music and automatically place markers to indicate beats. Use these as visual indicators for cut points, or drag to snap clips to the beat markers at the nearest frame.
That's another one. Automatically beat markers for music for placing. That's something that Logic has. I'm interested that Final Cut does not have it. My view, what makes an NLE different is trackless magnetic timeline, where you select your preferred NLE for your project plus workflow. Okay, do you know that, well, trackless is good. I like it, but sometimes I don't want it. I want to be able to lock a track in place. So I've developed a way to do that in Final Cut. I don't want it to be forced on me. Everything is trackless. The main timeline is good. Some of the video things are fine, but sometimes I want to lock a track in place. For example, markers. Yeah, it's really cool we got movable markers now. What's not cool is they're clip markers. They're not timeline markers. They're not sequence markers. They're clip markers and are restricted to the boundaries of a given clip. Well, I usually want markers sometimes on clips, but I want them in the sequence. I want sequence markers. I've had to do a workaround for years for that. I don't want them to be restricted by clip boundaries. That's frustrating. But anyway, that's completely fine. I mean, Final Cut is what Final Cut is. DaVinci Resolve is what DaVinci Resolve is. Avid is what Avid is. People have talked about, well, Final Cut will never be in Hollywood. Well, it's already been in Hollywood. It's already been there. Major motion films have been cut in Final Cut. That's not the issue. The issue is Avid is very well established in Hollywood, and it's got a very large server infrastructure inside of Hollywood. That doesn't work with Final Cut, obviously. Let's try a couple more of these. And then we're going to, if you want to talk about Final Cut, just let me know. We'll talk about Final Cut. That's not what I wanted. Where the heck we go? Here we go.
The AI audio assistant will analyze the audio tracks in your timeline to create a pro-level audio mix. When working on a timeline with audio elements that are not mixed or balanced,
a lot of our bread and butter over the years has been these National Geographic expeditions.
go to the timeline menu and navigate to AI Tools Audio Assistant. A dialog will prompt you for a delivery standard and then take you through the mixing process as the audio assistant organizes your tracks, evens out dialogue levels, adjusts sound effects and music to the dialogue track,
So I'm sorry, I had the audio off. So what I said was, it's pretty cool. That's a good feature for AI, is to have the ability to take a rough mix and give you some kind of a basic audio mix. You can go from there. And that's one of the features. I mean, 100 features. 100 features. Now, this is another one. So they have some kind of a new morph cut for jump cuts. You can do longer versions than prior.
The AI smooth cut transition is vastly improved and can now handle longer discontinuities for seamless transitions between jump cuts.
So the morph cut, whatever you want to call it, smooth cut, you can get longer segments now. You don't have to have frames that match up quite so much. That's another feature. So we gave Richard, you just talked about two sequences and moved from one to the other. Can you explain more about it? So in Final Cut, in DaVinci Resolve and I think Premiere, I don't know about Avid, you can open up two timelines, one over top the other. And you can drag things from one timeline directly to the other one. So visibly, you can have two timelines open at the same time for comparison, to drag things around. Final Cut, you have to keep on clicking the back and forward arrows. Which way am I going? If I have 4 or 5 timelines open, which one I'm clicking on, I don't know which one I'm doing. I can click on it and hold and go down to one. Sometimes I have timelines open and they disappear. They're no longer available with my current project. They're just gone. Now I got to go back and try to find it in the library and double click it to open up again. It's a very clunky way of Final Cut has it going back and forth, back and forth. If you can open up two timelines, one over top the other, some people call it pancake. That's not pancake. That's just two timelines. Pancake would have a bunch of clips over top each other. And I'd love that Final Cut, dual timelines. So I can drag from one to the other, select things, comparison, turn one on, turn one off. That would be very, very cool. Very cool. So do you have any other, let me see if I have anything else. Dialogue matcher, AI voice replacement. Did we already see that? I don't even know. Dual timelines. Well, I'll just pull this up since you asked about dual timelines. We'll just see it in action. We've already played this once, but we'll play it again. Just for you, Danielle.
With both timelines open at once, you can quickly compare alternative edits and drag and drop media between the timeline panels.
See, so you have one timeline open and another one below it. You can drag and drop things between them. And I'd like to see that in Final Cut. It's on my list of 100 things. That's fine. So is anybody going to NAB? I would like somebody, I know some of our friends are there. Absolutely. I know some of our friends are at NAB this year, but there's no Final Cut Pro events, public-facing events. I'm not saying the Final Cut Pro team's not there. They always go there to meet with developers and things. Behind the scenes, it's not public-facing. So I'm talking about like we had in 2016, 17, 18, and 19, public Final Cut. And even, let me see, 2020 was COVID. 2020, maybe 2021. I know it was canceled in 2020 because of COVID. 2021, I can't remember if they had restricted or they'd canceled that one too. But I think 2022, they had a super meet. Dan Berube had a super meet at the top of that Beer Park Hotel. That was very cool because you go there, and there's a lot of Final Cut Pro people. Steve Martin was there, some other Final Cut Pros. Sam Messman was there. My friend Serena Catania was there. And you can always depend on Final Cut Pro people being at this party, not during the day, but during the evening. And those are the kind of things that I go to NAB for. I expect the attendance at NAB to drop even from last year. It's certainly dropped from 2019. It was, I think, 90,000 attendees. Last year, I think they had 63,000 attendees. It would not surprise me if it dropped further into the 50s this year. So, would it be possible to do that even with the magnetic timeline of Apple? Of course it would be. Just open up 2 magnetic timelines. Why wouldn't that be possible? Of course, just open up 2. You can just drag from one timeline to the other timeline. The magnetic properties of Final Cut Pro have nothing to do with having 2 timelines open at the same time. So one thing I want to do is congratulate Grant Petty, everybody over there at Blackmagic Design, for putting out another phenomenal update to DaVinci Resolve 20. It looks like it's phenomenal. I've already got it installed, but I saved DaVinci Resolve 19.1 point something as well. But let's give them a hand. DaVinci Resolve team. We don't have, there's no pettiness between the two. I haven't been visiting IBC after they had to stop with the super meets in Amsterdam and the other events. Yeah, exactly. So if there was a big super meet, I would have gone to NAB because I really enjoy that. And once again, you have hundreds and hundreds of people there that go for the meeting. You have presentations, they give out prizes. They haven't done that for a while. Dan Berube had one, I think it was 2022, but he hasn't had one since. He hasn't had one since. So I would go, if there was a Final Cut Pro event, I'd be at NAB. If the Final Cut Pro did a presentation like they did in 2017 and 2018, they did official presentations. The Final Cut Pro team was there. Public, free, official presentations in 2017 and 2018 in the convention center. In the convention center, the Final Cut Pro team did that. 2019, somebody from, let me make sure that didn't mess me up here. That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. In 2019, somebody from the Final Cut Pro team was on the Faster Together stage. Now I'm going to go up here. I got this cool little application called Menu Meters or something like that. I'm turning the fans on my Mac Mini because it's getting a little bit hot under automatic settings. You probably won't hear because I have a noise gate on my microphone. But at this point, I'm looking forward to the next Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. Probably going to be in November. We're most certainly going to have a new update to Final Cut Pro that they will present at the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit in November. If they have one, nobody's told me that they were going to have one, but they're most likely going to have one. So that'll be very, very cool. Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve, LumaFusion are on Apple App Store. Do you know if Apple App Store have others? DaVinci Resolve is a studio version. I don't think the studio version of DaVinci Resolve. There's a free version, but you can also get it from the website. I don't think Premiere. No, Premiere's not on there. I don't think Avid's on the App Store either. I don't think so. So the point of this is not to compare DaVinci Resolve with Final Cut Pro feature for feature. Okay, Garrett says, yes, there is a studio version inside the App Store. Well, I did not know that. I did not know that. It's kind of surprising. I bought it from, well, I bought the speed editor and I got a free version of DaVinci Resolve Studio years ago. DaVinci Resolve 15 or 16, many years ago. So I've had the studio version all these years. DaVinci Resolve versions, both are on the App Store, but buying them in that fashion does not allow you to use beta, I think. That's a good point. So I'm on the beta version of DaVinci Resolve 20, but I backed up my copy of 19.1. You don't want to install a beta. Use that, overwrite your current version. So, and I like it. I mean, all these features are very, very cool. I mean, when I do text-based editing, I can't do it in Final Cut. I mean, you can with Lumberjack systems if you subscribe for that, but I've already paid for DaVinci Resolve Studio, so I do it in DaVinci Resolve. The automatic podcast multicam edit feature in Resolve 20 is a used feature for me. Absolutely. Absolutely. I have bought mine from the App Store. I wish I had bought it directly from BMD, the one with the product code. That way you can use the Resolve Studio version. Yeah, that's what they were just saying. You can't use the Studio, the beta version. So the deal is I bought they had the speed editor and DaVinci Resolve Studio for $299. It was the same price for both the hardware and the software, studio license, and I've been using that ever since. I don't use a speed editor, though. I got enough stuff on my desktop now. That's a good point. Buying from the App Store lets you use the software on more than one device. Good point. The store option only limits you to 2 devices. There you go. Yeah, that's true, if you buy it from the App Store. Well, do we have anything else to say? Final Cut Pro 11.1, I'm very satisfied with it. I use it all the time. Let me just go over here. Let me go over here. Don't forget to like and subscribe here, Final Cut TV and Coffee. Channel content. Let's go over here real quick.
This mouse backpack is the best I've...
So this is one of the most recent. I put this up this past week, and it's already got 918 views 3 days ago, so that's pretty cool. Let me see here. What do I want to do? Here we go. This is one more thing. Have you ever wondered if Final Cut Pro 11.1 can still capture mini DV tapes via FireWire? Well, I have a Mac Mini M4 Pro, and I wanted to find out just that. The answer is yes, it can. I can capture DV FireWire mini DV tapes on my Mac Mini with where there's adapters. Where the heck they went? Oh, here they are. With these two adapters, Apple adapters, you can watch the video. It's got like 900 some views, 42 thumbs up, which is fantastic. It's only been out for like 3 days. So if you're into that, it's on my YouTube channel. Is there a magnetic timeline or something similar in Resolve? Not the way Final Cut does it, but they have a, you can edit with, I think it's a trim edit, and if you make something roll left or right, everything will collapse with it. But it's not a trackless timeline. But it wouldn't surprise me if somebody implements that. Well, LumaFusion already has. They have the improved magnetic timeline or the enhanced magnetic timeline. They even call it a magnetic timeline in LumaFusion, which means it's magnetic, but you can also lock your tracks. You can also lock tracks above. You can lock tracks and keep the magnetic portion of the main timeline active. I'm going to watch the rest later. Got an event to handle. Our friend iNobody over there on the X platform. How long do we before we get a bug fix for 11.1? Do you think, Ben? What bugs are you seeing? If there's bugs, I'm sure there are. The fastest they ever put a bug fix out, the Final Cut Pro team, I think was 2 weeks. And the longest was this last time, which was 90 days. So from 11 that came out in November to 11.0.1, I think it was close to 3 months. And it wasn't that big a bug fix. It was just like 4 items or 5 items. So we got 11.1 right before, a couple weeks, like a week and a half ago. If there's serious bugs, they probably could have a bug fix out directly. But who knows? Anywhere from 2 weeks to 90 days, Ben. That's the best I can tell you. Lots of GUI bugs, no spatial conform when paste attributes to one clip. There's a growing list on forums. Okay, well, send them into the Final Cut Pro team. Final Cut Pro team. I like the fact that when Apple dropped DVD Blu-ray burning, they made a deal from Roxio Toast Titanium, so we lost nothing for clients when a physical copy in addition to a YouTube upload. What deal did they make? Did you get a discount for Toast? I used to buy Toast back in the days when I did DVDs. I haven't burned a DVD in forever. Although, that's interesting. My one light went out. I wonder why. But it's okay. No big deal. No big deal. Don't forget, subscribe. And where do you subscribe? Thumbs up and subscribe right here. Where the heck is it? YouTube.com at Richard Taylor TV. That's where you subscribe. And if you want to join our Facebook groups, Facebook.com groups Final Cut TV Radio. So this is interesting. Blu-ray menus don't work in Toast 20. Well, that's certainly not good. I second the audio mixer, absolutely. Yes, a discount like 40%, I think. Well, I don't know if that's specifically for Final Cut, because I think you can get discounts for Toast all the time, year round. There's always discounts. I see discounts for Toast. I used to buy it years ago, but I really haven't burned. I got a DVD Blu-ray burner. I haven't burnt one forever. I have not burnt one in forever. Let me see something. What's going on here? Just trying to check. Let's see if I can. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Well, that did not last long. I have an overhead light that went out. Just a nice little light that went out. I'll have to keep that in mind. Went out pretty darn fast. Pretty darn fast. So I'm going to show this. Since I made this little video this morning. I'm going to show it one more time. Avid is a tank. This is my perception. DaVinci Resolve is a work van with all kinds of tools, ladders and electric and plumbing, and then Final Cut Pro is a sports car. That's mine opinion of what the three NLEs are. The only thing Apple did was punt a workaround with Toast on their website. They say use ProRes files and put that in Toast, okay? Yeah. I was shown latest update to Premiere Pro by a colleague. It's actually pretty impressive. Some really useful features. I'd like to see in Final Cut Pro. Just saying, it's a very impressive upgrade. Of course it is. My objection to Premiere is Adobe the ransom model. It's not Premiere, the NLE. It's the ransom model that Adobe uses. And how many people have you heard that tried to cancel their subscription to the Adobe, and it's nothing but hassles? Nothing but hassles. They want to charge you a cancellation fee, charge you this, charge you that to try to get you not to. That's what I object to. It's the Adobe model. I actually got to use Avid Media Composer 2 weeks ago, and it's really impressive. If you're not seeing the latest, you should. I'm sure it is. I mean, all the NLEs should be updating. They're at NAB again, but I think NAB is really, it's for me, the fact that they don't have any events to go to, no super meets, no faster together stage. Michael Cioni, Strada, he had a party last year, which I really enjoyed. He didn't have one this year. So the events that I would normally go to, I would already be at NAB if I was going. I was scheduled to go today, Saturday. But that's not happening, of course. That is not happening. Are there any DaVinci Resolve users watching? And there might be, because I posted this in DaVinci Resolve groups. If there are, I got a question for you. I missed the super meets back in the day. 80% of the reason I ever went to NAB, absolutely. They had them up through 2019. Well, 2019, LumaForge took over, and instead of the super meet, they took over the stage and had a faster together stage. And then there was COVID. And then Ben says, I use Resolve here and there, but not an expert. I'm good. Ben, there's free classes online at the end of April. A series of free classes for Resolve. I'm going to be taking those. I'm going to make myself sit down and take them this time. I always start and I say, I'll get to it later. I'm going to make myself watch those classes this time, especially with version 20. But there was a super meet up to 2018. 2019, Faster Together, LumaForge took over the super meet, and they had the Faster Together stage. It was basically the same kind of event, a lot of vendors, hundreds and hundreds of people in an auditorium. They had presentations, and Final Cut Pro, somebody from the team was on that stage. You and me both, Richard. I'm going to try. LOL. Exactly. How many times? 2 times, 3 times. I said I'm going to sit down and do that. And I sit down, and I start. And I said I'll get to this later. This time I'm going to really force myself to watch the free online classes for DaVinci Resolve, especially with version 20. I'm not interested in Fusion as much. I'm not interested in Fairlight. I'm not interested in the color because I don't do kind of color correction. I do basic color correction. I'm interested in the editors, mostly the edit page, some of the cut page, but mostly the edit page. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. Hopefully at the end of April, they have classes again. So that'll be very cool. So anybody here just a DaVinci Resolve user? I know you got to be excited about DaVinci Resolve 20, the beta version. You have to be. I know I am. And once again, DaVinci Resolve 20 is going to be free, both the free version, obviously, and the studio version. It's going to be free. But Grant Petty did say they probably will be charging for an upgrade at some point in the future, but not for 20. 20, he said, no. 20 is going to be free for everybody. So that's very cool. I will miss seeing Grant Petty at NAB because I got to interview him last year.
Do you have old pictures on your PC?
Watch this real quick. This is from last year. Can I get a picture with you?
Yeah, no problem.
By the way, fantastic keynote Friday.
Oh, thanks.
Absolutely fantastic. It was over 2 hours long.
Yeah, it was really long.
I love Resolve 19.
It just got longer, and it's like, well, what do? You kind of cut so much out that you don't make any sense.
Right.
It's a bit tough to know how much to cut out, but
Great job.
I'm glad it was useful. That's the thing. I always think that, I've just sort of deliver all the detail, and some of it's good. Most of it's good, you hope. Sometimes there's some caveats or not bad things, but no, it can do this or can't do that. I reckon if you just get all the information out there, and everyone else can kind of work out, oh, yeah, okay, that's important, that fixes that, or this is that. You don't quite know. Like when I was an engineer working in post, you kind of just tell people what's going on, and then they kind of know whether it's good or not. I don't actually, I'm hoping it's good. We're going to find out pretty quickly if it's not.
Oh, sure.
The replay stuff, I'm nervous as hell about the replay.
Is that right?
I've used it, and so I'm thinking it's good, but you don't know until guys are off. Even last night, I thought of a new way of doing, using it.
Sure.
So every time you use it, you go, oh, why aren't I doing this? I should be using an endpoint for that.
Sure.
So it's just a lot of reiteration. And being in DaVinci, it's good because it means we can keep changing it. But that's what makes me always nervous coming to the start of the show.
No.
If someone comes up and goes, oh, but you didn't do this. It's like, oh, God, I forgot to put, how could I be so stupid not to think of that?
No, I understand.
But that's the reality of coming here, isn't it?
Resolve 19 is fantastic.
I know. What I love about Resolve 19, it's particularly exciting. It was a huge risk putting Fusion and Fairlight in it. But now they're actually interacting. So you've got like a tracker from the video side, moving the audio, pounding the audio around on the audio side. And that's the bit that's really exciting. Because we had to spend a few years rewriting the code. Like when Fusion went in, it was only Windows before Fusion.
Okay.
We had to get a cross-platform. We had to change a lot of code, get it in there. We had to replace the frameworks, get it up to speed. It's got the USD and everything in it now. And now you've got it all interacting with the different sides.
So that was Grant Petty from last year. Paid upgrades is better than subscriptions, absolutely. Toast Pro, Apple's top pick for Final Cut Pro exclusive offer. I understand that they're saying exclusive offer, but I see discounts for Toast year-round online. Always. You never pay full price for Toast. I've seen discounts for 40% off, 50% off, 60% off all the time, not just from Apple.
And editing in the same app, and then
Not just from Apple. So I'm not sure how much of it is an actual discount. I don't know. Maybe they have something more than I thought. Anyway, I'm going to be getting out of here. What time is it? We've been on for an hour and 20 minutes, and I got to. Oh, it's 10:23. That's not too bad. I'm going to be up Westminster. We're going to do a live stream from the Humane Society of Carroll County Kitten Shower. They have a kitten shower. They raise money for their kittens they want to adopt out, and you can bring food and stuff. And I'll be doing a live stream from Westminster from their kitten shower, Humane Society of Carroll County, starting about 1 o'clock or so this afternoon. $16.23. Very good. So that's what I'll be doing this afternoon. I'm not sure. I am excited about DaVinci Resolve 20. Nobody touches DaVinci Resolve for features, for feature updates. Nobody can touch them. They leave everybody else in their trail. Everybody else is behind DaVinci Resolve. Everybody. But that's okay. I still use Final Cut Pro first. So I still enjoy Final Cut. I really like 11.1. Ben was saying there's some bugs that I haven't seen in the bugs yet, but I'm really liking 11.1. It's very fluid with me. Thank you, Ben. Have another good weekend, Richard. Another good show. Thank you very much, Ben. I appreciate it. It is appreciated. We got a lot of people watching. 60, 70 people watching live, something like that. I'm going to get out of here myself. And thanks, everybody, for tuning in. If you on DaVinci Resolve, you're welcome to come over to our Final Cut Pro group and mention. But DaVinci Resolve has their own plenty. I think DaVinci Resolve group, the one group was 140,000 members on their Facebook group. The biggest Final Cut Pro group is 32,000 or so, I think. So DaVinci Resolve, it's pretty darn big and very impressive. Grant Petty, absolutely the DaVinci Resolve team for version 20, phenomenal. They've had text-based editing for years built in. Now they got the CapCut style captioning and stuff. Phenomenal. You are the best audience available anywhere for Final Cut Pro live streams. Let's give you a round of applause. Absolutely, all the people that tune in every week. Any idea why all the other NLE makers have to try to catch up with DaVinci? They don't have to try to catch up. I'm just saying, DaVinci is so far ahead of everybody. Nobody does 100 features in an update. Final Cut Pro, we get 4 or 5. Avid, maybe a dozen. Premiere, maybe a dozen. 100 new features and everything for this major update, even though it's a beta. And they're going to add more. Grant Petty said they're going to add more. They're not done. That's just the beginning. They are phenomenal with updates, bug fixes, new features. That's one of their things. They've been that way for a long time. Nobody has to catch up to them. They really can't. They really can't. They are so far ahead of the feature updates, nobody can touch them. But I'm not saying they have to. Final Cut's doing good. We've got the 11.1 commit for NAB, which we talked about, starting in January. I kept saying we're going to see a feature update. I didn't say we were going to. I said I could see a feature update before NAB. Well, they put it out last week before NAB, a feature update. What I was not expecting was 11.1. That was a surprise that they jumped from 11.0.1 all the way to 11.1. So that means 11.2, 11.3, version 12 at the Creative Summit next year. The numbers don't mean anything. They have no relevance to the update structure of Final Cut Pro anymore. They just don't. Let me see if I have anything else I haven't covered. I'll check my notes here. DaVinci Resolve 20 public beta, major new update, which includes more than 100 new features, including powerful AI tools. Very, very cool. DaVinci Resolve 20 is free to download, and the studio version is free at this point. Free at this point. They don't have a manual yet, but they have some kind of a PDF available to show you new features. And there's going to be free classes at the end of April. I don't know if it's going to be using the beta version. I don't know, or the studio version. They'll distinguish. They'll distinguish that. Don't forget, subscribe over there at YouTube. YouTube.com at Richard Taylor TV. Give a thumbs up. Give a like. Subscribe over there. Get my numbers up. That'll be fine. That's one of my goals for this year. I'm going to be doing more short Final Cut Pro, mostly videos, on my YouTube channel to get my subscription numbers up. I haven't really worried about it over the years, but I've decided, why not? See what I can do. But thanks to all of you for tuning in every Saturday. DaVinci Resolve 20 updates your database or library, so back up, please, absolutely back up your version of Final Cut Pro, of DaVinci Resolve 19 or whatever version you have before you update, because it overwrites the version that you have in your applications folder. I just keep them in a separate folder. I keep them in a separate folder. You are all the best. You're all the best. I really appreciate you coming in here every Saturday, Final Cut TV and Coffee. I really appreciate it. I'm going to be doing a live stream on YouTube and Facebook this afternoon about 1 o'clock Eastern Time from the Humane Society of Carroll County at their kitten shower. I'm going to be filming on Main Street, Westminster as well, but I don't think I'm going to live stream. I think I decided against live streaming that event. And there's a reason why. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. If I don't see you before, well, I'll see you this afternoon. I'll be live using my mobile setup. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. If I don't see you before that, I'll see you next Saturday.